No, we don't.
Recording in progress.
Okay. Now we're going to get an echo. No, we're not. Okay. I guess we got to get that off the screen. Do that for ourselves.
Chris, we probably should let Nathan say what he wants to say, or if he needs to
Sure.
say before he has to go.
Yeah, thank you for letting us know about that. So good evening, everyone. Welcome to the first of the 2022-23 Astro Cafe series. Glad you could join us tonight. We have a few people here in the room with us, as maybe you can see, and then the group on online. So it's good. And Joe is recording this tonight for us, so it should be going on the website there too. So people who okay, Nathan actually is just here for the show. Okay, that's good to know. So I thought what we could start with tonight is just a wrap up from the summer. I don't know if Lauri, you've been heavily involved, for example, in a couple of the events, Saturday Star Parties and the Saanich Fair, and I don't know if you want to tell us how that went. And I'm not sure if there's anybody who was at the Starfinders Star Party last month. I think Peter had dropped by for part of it. I don't know if anybody else was there. So we'll see how that goes.
Chris?
Yes.
You're off. You're muted. You're muted, David.
Was that David Lee?
The beginners group kind of met sporadically over the summer, so I could sort of talk about that.
Sure. Okay. So I don't know, Lauri, would you like to say a few? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Nice to see people in person. I was also able to be in contact with Malhar Kendurkar up at the center on Friday night, and invited him to the meeting. But he is up doing some observing at the center, so he may not be able to, depending on how things go, he may not be able to join in tonight, but he was invited. He is one of our directors of the National RASC and is here in town doing observing at the Plaskett Telescope.
And I see he's joined us online. So
Hi, guys.
Hi, Malhar.
Oh, good.
I just joined.
Oh, good. Thank you. Good. Thanks. Hi. Great. So yeah, we've been pretty darn busy all summer long. We have had the star parties right through since June, and every Saturday night. Lots of people have been able to help us out. Thank you to everybody with the RASC who came out on different nights to help out. And I'm going to particularly kind of go to a big thank you to David Lee, because he has just filled in tremendously for us in getting our telescopes ready. Anytime I ask him to do something, David, do you think we could do this? And he says, yeah, I'll come up and I'll figure it out. And we'll kind of, so David has been just wonderful. We've absolutely sold out every single solitary night. And we've already sold out for 2 weeks from now on the 24th. And they only just went on at 5 o'clock today. For the one group. We are trying with the RAS with the an NRC to see if we could increase the number of tickets that will be available for this last one on the 24th. But we have to have the right number of commissionaires and everything. So we're still working on that. Anyway, that has worked out really quite well. And we can't believe that it's almost kind of all finished by this time. It just goes in a whirl. Then we also did not star parties, but cruise tours on Friday nights up at the center. And so we did that, which was what we started last year, and that continued. And we are actually going to be doing 2 tours a night up there. We were also open from Tuesday to Friday from 10 till 2. during the summer, and we're going to be open until the end of August, or sorry, so the end of September, in order to have people come up and do tours. We do our kind of regular tours up there, and we've had quite a good number of people come up, and that's been a really positive thing that we have done all summer long as well. So that's the FDAO side of things. And then last weekend, or not this, a weekend ago, we had the Saanich Fair, which thank you to the number of people, like a ton of people who helped out both on Friday night to set up, and then Saturday, Sunday, Monday to do all the work that needed to be done. Some of the people are here that helped out, and I really appreciate it. Thanks to Alex, he came 3 days in a row. So he was the only other person to get a 3-day wristband, so that was really good. Thanks, Alex.
Okay.
We had 2 nice days. Saturday and Monday were great. The sun was out, and we had prominences, and we had sunspots, and then Sunday it drizzled rain, and we all huddled under the tents for a little bit, but that seemed to be okay. Thanks to Margie and Jill for manning, and David for manning the tent on the Sunday, trying to keep everybody cheery. We did have about 1,000 entries for the telescope. And I was able to get it to Melissa Long, who was the person who won the telescope. And I took it over to her on Saturday and set it up with her, and she was thrilled. She's got 2 twin boys and about 9, and a little girl who's about 6, and they were really thrilled to be able to have it. So I'm really glad that it went to a family that will be able to use it. And I asked her, I totally forgot to take a picture of the telescope up with her. And so, but she said she'd be happy to take a selfie when she gets it up the next time. So anyway, I think that's all. Just big thank yous to everybody who helped out. It, as I say, it takes a village to do the whole thing. So I really appreciate it.
Great, thanks, Lauri. Any questions or comments from people who were there, or?
They still haven't recovered.
Yes, I guess. It's always a lot of work. Well, thank you, Lauri, for putting all that together, because I know certainly the none of those events are trivial.
No.
Would anybody like to talk about the summer star party at Vancouver Island Star Party?
Island Star Party,
that's what it's called. Anybody have any observations from it? I guess the weather wasn't ideal that weekend, but
Hello.
hi, Dave.
Oh, there's
Hi.
Dave. He can.
Sorry, I just
Dave was there, I think.
guess my timing was pretty good. So the Island Star Party was quite successful. The speakers we got were fantastic. The Friday night there was about 30 people registered. On the Saturday there was 45 to 50 people there.
Good.
The weather was mixed. It would be extremely clear for part of the time, and extremely cloud covered for part of the time, and it would vary hour by hour, it seemed. There were quite a few campers. There was a lot of people in attendance, passerbys in the park, or people that had read about it. I think we failed a fair bit on advertising the event, something we could have done better. But overall, it was a success, and a good time was had. Our revenues exceeded our expenses, but both were pretty small numbers. We'll talk about council, but I think it's a good idea. The Cowichan Valley Starfinders, who were the main sponsors for this star party, they're declining in their numbers, and the principals are not sure they have the energy to carry it off. So if there's interest, I'd be happy to help or organize it next year, but we'd have to supply more of the manpower to put it on.
Yeah, so I guess to be decided, but that's good. It was able to continue on this year because it has been a long-standing event. And certainly our attempts most recently at holding center star parties we've been totally weathered out. So yeah, it was just terrible. But
so is the Cowichan Valley Regional District on side as far as continuing with the favorable arrangements for the event?
Yes.
Okay.
because I think there had been some discussion in the past that it was a bit iffy, wasn't it? At one
Well,
point?
we're the only group that's allowed to camp in
Yes,
that park because it's a Class C park. It's not
a
It's not designed to be camped in, but we do.
Well, I imagine they'd be involved in the negotiations with the municipality. I think it's CBD.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's their
It's,
park, isn't it?
it's the regional district that runs the park.
Yeah, to hold it there. That's the only time they allow camping in that park. The park, the park is great. The skies were dark. The horizons are pretty low. There's flush toilets there, and
Yeah, the only thing that's missing is my chosen cafe.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a good thing about Machosen. Lauri, do you have a question?
Yes, I just wanted to know whether or not you had a date for next year, David.
No, I haven't got that far yet. I wanted to have a discussion at to council whether we want to go all in on it next year or what we want to do.
Because I was just going to say the Saanich Fair won't change its dates for us.
Right.
Okay, like it's always on the long weekend. So so depending on when things are, I know this year it was kind of 1 week, there was, 1 week apart, and caused a little bit of difficulty with volunteers and, people that were doing both. But I mean, I just know
Yeah.
Saanich Fair is always on that weekend, so it won't change. So I don't know about.
Well, the Star Party was, I think it's generally in August. And that weekend was because it was new moon.
New moon, right?
Yeah, and according to if Google is correct, the new moon in August is the week of August. It was on Wednesday, August 16th.
For
So
2023.
for 2023. So
Oh, so that's earlier then.
It should move up, yeah. And I don't
So-
think, based on our experiences with September, I don't think we want to go later.
So that might work
That
then
might work
next
better
year.
next
That might
year.
work quite well. Okay, thanks, David. I just wanted to check on that.
Yeah. But I imagine that, if we decide to go ahead, we'd probably do the same, pick the weekend with the new moon. And then approach with Brian from Star Valley, approach the municipality on booking it. But it would be great to have a RASC table and an FDAO table or something, much like you do for the Saanich Fair.
So, yeah, thank you. So let me see if I managed to kick myself off of Zoom here. So I just got to get back on because I've got the next presentation. We have Clayton with us this evening, who you probably remember as being instrumental in getting an Astronomy 11 course going at Victoria High School. And with the renovations going on there are some opportunities to do some things, I guess. Is that a fair way to put it? And so he wants to tell us about that tonight. So I'll just let me get back on here and see if I can get his slides up.
Oh no, I'm up next.
You're up next, yes.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Do I have to go visual?
No, you can,
Oh,
we can
beautiful.
hear you. Do you want to see him?
No. Well, it's up to them.
Yeah, so that's.
Well, I can,
There.
Well,
I
you
can get
don't
it.
have to, but I would just put the video off anyways, if it was up to me.
so Joe
That's
Cart, Clayton is
Looking at
Joe Cart.
myself,
It's
I look
okay,
here
so,
and I talk to this.
yeah,
Kind of a
well,
mapping.
yeah, sure.
You're
And
just,
I
on-
guess I can click on,
you're just on
the
video.
file
No,
says-
he's, unfortunately,
You're
he's
gonna-
rigged up, not me.
okay, that's good. Okay, so I'll go then. My name's Clayton and I originally joined the RASC to solicit help for the development of an astronomy program at Vic High. And thanks to the RASC and the astronomy community, we now have, Vic High now has an Astronomy 11 course taught by John Guillen, who has a master's in astrophysics. And it is funded by a particle physicist from Princeton. And so thank you all for that. The testimonials actually really helped. It was actually a tough sale to the admin for an astronomy course. A teacher actually referred to it as, oh, that just what we need is another snowflake course. And I think that really is the public's perception of astronomy. In many ways, I'll refer back to that. So we have that now established, and John and myself, we thought it would be really powerful if students could image galaxies, deep sky objects, and complaining to their mom and dad, say, hey, instead of showing them selfies, say, look, I've got a picture I just took this picture at Vic High of a galaxy. And so we decided to do a test, and we literally dragged the astrograph. I think it's got a EQ6 mount to the top of the auditorium roof. And we did a test image of M51. Number one slide, please.
Okay, hold on a second.
Take
Sorry,
a look
I'm
at
having some problems here.
This is why I don't do it, and you get
Yeah.
$8.
That's right. Let's see if I can get it back there. Let's see.
If you can't, I can try. Oh, it looks like it's
Yeah.
working.
There we are. Okay, let's try that.
And we were actually surprised at this. I mean,
Oh,
I was
hold on a
surprised.
second. I know what I'm doing wrong. See what happens when you don't do Zoom
I'm
for the
so
whole,
glad I'm doing this.
for the whole summer there. There, we'll share that. There we
Okay, so we were actually really happy with this. You can see structure with it. This is just a short exposure, 12 minutes. I think there were 6 bias, 6 darks, no flats. And the reason that it's blue is because it was literally over downtown Victoria. It was, there's a boundary between the city glow and the night sky. It was literally sitting right on that boundary. So to get this image, we thought that this is really good. This is possible, and we can make this happen. And then as time went by, okay, that's enough for that, unless anyone, yeah.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me close that one. Okay, and now number 2,
No, not yet.
Okay. but I'll get it ready.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we got that image, and then just before retirement, and they were gonna have the renos for the seismic upgrades. The principal, Aaron Parker, arranged a staff meeting, and he asked for a wish list of because we had the extra funding. So myself and John, me and John and I decided, well, let's ask for an observation deck, because we knew there was an existing structure, and why not ask? And the staff reaction was they started laughing and going, oh, Clayton wants a spaceport for UFOs. So I thought that was definitely a nix, and that was the end of that. And then this is where the other one comes. There's an alumni had, so this is after I think I retired. There was an alumni meeting where there were a bunch of people that wanted to be voted in for the alumni, and there's this person Callow who I was interested in. So I went on the web and started searching to see who this person was, and that's the next one. I should say Callow, and I came across this on the web.
Come on, there it is.
So this is from an actual meeting with District 61, and the thing is with Callow and his group, they were protesting the actual sale of land for Vikai because they wanted this huge track and stadium that would like rival Reynolds and Opie or something. So this is what he was complaining about, I think. And then an actual district member said to justify this is that it was recommended these funds be focused on an astronomy deck. And this is the first time I ever heard of this. I was shocked. And I went to John Guillaume immediately on the email and said, is this true? They're actually putting this spaceport for UFOs? Everyone was laughing at it. And he said, yes, he thought so, but he didn't want to jinx it. So I started looking at the alumni sites more carefully, and there was more references to the astronomy deck. And survey 1 is a district. This says that the community was consulted. So this goes to the next one, survey 1. And so the district did a survey and asked the community, what would be your idea of what the best additions for these fundings for the seismic upgrades? And I'll prefix
There it
this.
is.
Astronomy, observatory, last place, almost literally, except for others specified. So it's the least popular here, just below improved memorial. And then the next slide, this was also on their site. The Astronomy Club asked the relevance of an astronomy deck. And this is good. So this is what the public had to say.
Okay, hold on a second, sorry.
Well,
You're getting too fast for me.
Yeah, I'm trying to speed this up, so I don't want to go.
There we are.
Too much of your times. Fairly important to not very important. Is how important. This is really, I really believe what the public's view is on astronomy. It's a snowflake kind of course that's, and I thought this was a no-go, like really with those results, but I was really curious. And so the next one, also on this link with the alumni, they were saying link to what people are saying about the upgrades. So I wanted to see if they were saying anything about the astronomy deck. And as you can see, nobody's saying anything about astronomy deck. They really like the artificial turf though. So I approached Aaron. I said, I went to the top and I said, Aaron is the principal. Is it true? I just want to know, are we getting an astronomy deck? And I interrupted his summer. He was actually fishing, and he emailed me right back and said, yes, it is true. And I kind of went, whoa. And I said, the testimonials there, what people are saying, there's nothing on the astronomy deck. So I think, if you want me to approach the astronomy community on this, and I thank everybody for their testimonials on it. I got some real heavyweights on that. He said, yes, I would. And so it would go, I think it's going to go a long way into helping. He said the public perception on this is not good. And he's planning a media blitz on it. And I can see why. It was chosen last place. It's not a popular thing. And I don't know how he managed to get the astronomy deck approved. Well, I have an idea. So this is what's the next one?
What's the next one?
So I can carry on and get my talking points straight. Is
Survey,
this the actual astronomy?
deck construction, I think.
So here is the deck. I went there and I thought, oh, I was so excited when I heard from Aaron. I went around to the Fernwood Inn, had a couple of pints and started photographing where could the astronomy deck be. And this is the unfortunate site. And
This level?
that there, and I kind of, my jaw dropped, I mean, this is the worst possible place for an astronomy deck, and, I actually emailed Aaron and pleaded for him to move it towards the, west where we had done it, that was enclosed by the east, south, and, west wings. And it was shielded from the light pollution. He said he had absolutely no choice in this. Him and John approached the engineers, but this is a seismic upgrade. There's like low bearing issues. And this is the only site they approved. And I thought, well, I'm out of this. This is no good. And this is one of the reasons I'm with you guys, is trying to deal with the light pollution. But here's the next slide of the artist.
Can you tell us
rendition.
what's wrong with that location?
It is on the east wing, so it's literally closer to the Fernwood hub. It's almost directly above the streetlights and across from the Fernwood Inn and all the businesses and
So it's on the north side,
east side,
east side.
right where Fernwood's, right across from the Fernwood Inn. Right above the streetlights, further in towards, yeah, you can see here maybe a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Fernwood Inn is right over.
So it's up here, isn't it?
It's right there.
Yeah.
I think the way he sold this is that it's a multi-purpose outdoor classroom and observatory deck. So I approached Aaron and I said, how serious are you about this? Like, do you want this as a functioning astronomy deck, or do you just want this as a classroom and go ahead, bring your telescopes out there at night? And you're welcome to use it. And he said he wants it as a functional astronomy observation deck, so that students can see deep sky objects like M13, M31 for sure, through their telescopes. And my hope is for the astrophotography part. So a lot of you guys are amateur astronomers and way smarter than me, and I was hoping whatever plans you had, you could let me know, and I'll let Aaron know. At the least we can put is office dividers up there. I'm sure some paneling. I suggested a complete wall up on the east side.
Right, block it.
And then, a window, and you can put it down so you still have the outdoor kind of atmosphere and he said you cannot do anything structural. There's no way the engineers will approve that.
Is the tennis court built up there?
No, I think that's little foliage and shrubbery for the outdoor classrooms to make it more conducive to learning.
But all you can do there, I think, is put up
Walls.
shields.
Yeah, which is still, I think that is
Like
something.
this.
And if we are putting up shields, I thought maybe a shed with a removable roof, but I don't think they'll go for that because of the bearing issues, and I think you're gonna
I would
obstruct
just
the
keep
field
it-
of view.
I would
We
just
have a-
keep it simple and just.
I think
put
that'll
some
help,
shields up.
that'll help greatly, and in terms of that, I was thinking, well, we need to know exactly how high so that we get the proper declination for it. And no, I was also thinking that maybe like they've got these blinds that are 99, 100% for sunlight.
Yeah.
That you can pull down and just reverse it and pull it up, and that way you could have it at different levels or paneling, but anything that you guys can suggest to help.
Sure.
Why not work on the luminaires themselves, improving the lighting?
That
Why
too.
is that?
Yeah, that's a good thought.
I mean,
It's a municipal election. year.
Anything that you got, anything you guys suggest would be a plus. I think at minimal, even if we just had office dividers up there to shield the light, it will do a lot.
Yeah, get full cutoff lights, and of course, the building is going to, at night is going to be cleaned. Those lights are going to be on and shining down on the deck.
We would, yeah.
So there's lots of issues there. that-
Yeah, I have to, what we did is that we had access to that when we filmed, where we filmed. Was over here in the middle there, and we shut up all the hallway lights and we did that. So I mean, that wasn't too much of an issue, and I'm sure those are things, we can't get the city to turn off their lights.
You can get
But
the-
what we should
Turn
do.
it down.
Yeah,
So is this,
And they can put up light shields.
and they can.
I was actually thinking too, once I'm back in this, is trying to go like, what would it look like? I think they have an Earth Day things where they turn off lights. If we could get the Fernwood community, would it be like observable that if they shut off all the houses, businesses for 1 hour, shut off the lights, would there be a substantial difference in the night sky? Anyways,
Yeah.
beyond that, the observation deck, asking for your help in being able to make that a functional observation deck.
And maybe I just answer Peter's, Jedicke's question that he chatted about. Yeah, so this is the site that's on Fernwood Road. You should see on the map another location I guess it's roughly Hillside and Blanchard.
Yeah.
There's an older high,
SJ Willis. yeah.
There's an older high school that's been disused for about however many gazillion years. So Vic High is in that building while this one's being renovated. So it's, I think.
Oh,
showing up-
he will, yeah.
Yeah, so it's showing up, there's two Vic Highs on the map. at the
Yeah.
moment,
Yeah.
Because one is at SJ Willis, which is near Blanchard and Hillside.
That's where the.
I went to
students-
see her.
That's where the students are, yeah.
I went to see her and I heard they were at SJ Willis and they Googled it and SJ Willis is now somewhere else. So I
Yes,
almost went
because
to
that's
one place.
yeah.
So,
Should I turn this one off or do you?
well, the last thing about this that I want to say is that I was like, my jaw dropped and I was saying, forget this, this is not gonna work because of light pollution, but do you want me to go with the RASC and see if there's any fixes that we can do? And I think at minimal, any type of barrier is gonna help it immensely. But the beauty about this thing is it extends eastward. So there's a southern view and we have the ecliptic where we never had that where we were before. And so we got we got Saturn. I was just down there.
Perfect.
Saturn, Jupiter was
Earth and the planet.
transiting,
And the
the
moon,
moon,
yeah,
no lighting issue, doesn't
sun.
matter.
don't forget the sun,
Yeah. We do have a solar
our
telescope
big
too.
star.
Yeah, we do have a solar telescope too. So mind you, we could have seen it from the other place, I think. But yeah, so that's a huge, huge plus.
Yeah, but for PR purposes, being able to observe from that deck with both the sun and the moon and planets is a biggie because you're in the city. Those are the things you're going to be able to see more easily.
Do you think
The
that we
dark
could do
sky
deep sky
objects are
objects?
not gonna be great,
No, but do you think we could see a little fuzzy M31 and M13?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it will be a challenge, a bit more of a challenge.
Your photo illustrated it, that's about what you're gonna get.
But that was in the center there, and that though it was hidden in between those tall wings there. It was
Astro-
really blocked off.
Astro imaging is also possible with filters.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have filters to see like filters, so.
But it'll
that-
take
that
more,
was- Yeah,
it'll be more educated.
More expertise.
that
is needed,
M51 was taken with the city light filters.
yeah.
The last thing that I want to say before I take up more of your time, and again, thank you for your testimonials on this, because the public, when I heard from Aaron, was that they're not receiving this well. And it'll go a long way. And I got some really heavyweights, that Dr. James Hesser and Dr. James DeFrancesco and head president here and Randy. And I got Dr. JJ Cavalier's reply. And he said that now students of Vic High will have the opportunity to work on the Tino Recon project. And John originally was working with students on that, but it was such a heavy load for him to ferry students up to Observatory Hill and it just couldn't be. But now we have a reliable place for this. I emailed him and he said also that students would have co-authorships on papers on this. Tracking trans-Neptunian objects through occultation of stars and getting their names on papers.
Good.
So I wrote him back and I said, well, we got this lighting issue. Are you sure? And he said, don't worry about that. As long as there's light, it's not flooding into the aperture. He's actually done campaigns from parking lots that this is possible. So like students will be on board for that. It looks like I'm just waiting for the go ahead from Aaron, and he's really busy with the startup right now to approach JJ and see how do we make that happen. So there's a huge plus.
and there's a question.
All I
from-
gotta say.
Can I ask you the question too? Is this a credit course, daytime classroom and nighttime, or an extracurricular activity? Is this to be shared facility with other high schools? So maybe you could just recap what the Astronomy 11 is about at the moment.
Yeah, and that's a big peeve I've got about this. And that's why the guy said another snowflake class, and actually I asked for testimonials on this. My other big thing was, once I got into this astronomy course, was that this is an elective, and that really bugged me that they wouldn't put this on the same level as Earth Science 11, where the students could get their science requirements. The province at that time was changing the curriculum. So I really fought hard for this, and I got testimony saying, yes, it's a good idea. Why shouldn't astronomy be a legitimate science? The end of that is no, it's an elective. I've got a workaround on that, but that's going to be taking some convincing with John and Aaron. Is that the government came back to me when I contact the curriculum department, is that, oh, we've already got this elaborated astronomy course that you can take, and it's a grade 12 level, and it's this weird fusion hybrid of a physics 11 and physics 12 to make it astronomy, and it was just so unworkable. And then I talked to somebody else who is actually doing this, and he's running it. If you see his actual course outline on it, it's got nothing to do with what they're doing. It's more like what any astronomy first year thing is, what John is doing. It's not following the PLOs at all. And I was told by admin is those are just prescribed learning outcomes. You don't have to do that. You don't have to teach trade. But so that's the way to do it and open it up to grade 11s. But currently, right now, astronomy 11 is just an elective, and that's why it was a hard sell for the admin to get that course.
So it's an elective for credit, but not credit.
Credit, yes,
But
but
not
not
science.
science. Yeah. So yeah,
If
it's
that
not-
makes any
it's
sense.
not, yeah, it's not a club, but there is a club for it, and yeah. Was there another question? I don't think
No,
so.
I think that was it. And did you want to show that last one?
You did have another
Yeah, the
question.
tent.
The other question.
Oh,
was how
no,
much other
the
skills-
tent was just an idea, and that just is, I just kind of wondered if anybody had that tent.
Well, let's just show it anyways while we're here.
Yeah, that was an idea that I saw online, that we could put up there temporarily, but there's, and we wouldn't do it under, any windy conditions. When I looked at the reviews, the guy was, imaging, it said it was a nightmare. He could not pull or align with it. He had to raise the tripod so high it was unstable to get it up there, and it's like, and that's the field of view issue too, is like, it was just, yeah, so.
I would go with shields along the edge
Yeah,
of
the
deck.
shields would
Much
be
would be
as-
much, and as you say,
but the-
work on full cutoff in the area,
Well, not just that, but
Yeah.
the
the lighting.
lighting
Urban
does potentially, you can put shields up on the lighting itself.
Exactly.
And that's a very good idea.
So, yeah, maybe
Because
my,
Have we not,
sorry about,
found from Dave and others that, in fact, shielding of some lights is possible by the city, that this has happened elsewhere?
They're
I had
happy to
Old
do
Bay
it.
come down and do
Mhm.
free for me.
Yeah, they're,
Well, okay,
They're happy to
Saanich
do
did
it.
mine.
this
Victoria
is
did-
obviously the first thing there.
Yeah.
and there was somebody with the RAC that's dealing with light, like
We
Yes.
have a light
a
pollution
light person
committee.
guy.
We have a committee that does that.
And we have an engineer, a lighting
He's a
engineer in
lighting
our
engineer.
club.
Well, I don't know how to collect your minds together to present to Aaron, but maybe contact through Chris or through email.
It's too bad Dave Robinson isn't on tonight, because
I don't see him here, no.
we have a name, we'll give it to you later.
Yeah,
So, yeah, to ask for your help again on making this a functional deep sky observatory, and my hope in the future is to be the resident imager, and I'm going to and Bode's Pinwheel, M51, M13, and now we got the ecliptic too. It's like
well, it is exciting news.
and
It
for
may not be
sure,
ideal, but it's, I think you'll be able to make it work.
even without ideal having the Tino Recon, students being able to be a part of that is huge. And for the students, like the first time I saw the rings of Saturn through a telescope, that was life-changing for me. And you still go down with the telescope and have people walk by and they look at this and they're going like, wow.
Well, now that you have the ecliptic, you can reach
you'll
out
be able
to
to do
all
that.
those potential astronomers.
Just when school opens September too, so it's great. So thank you, everybody, and thank you for everyone for their testimonials and
Thanks for the
for the
report.
support.
Well, thanks, Clayton. That's an interesting update. I was just going to see if I could maybe give everybody online a little bit of a tour of what we've got here now, what we're looking at. So these are the two monitors, and Clayton there hiding out. This is our microphone that's picking us up on the table here.
Oh, wow.
And then down behind us here is the laptop and little cart that we've got.
I'm not seeing your video, I'm just seeing the main.
Oh, you have to look at Chris Purse. All right, sorry. Maybe I can spotlight me. But I have to do it here. Hold on a second. The spot. There.
Oh, that's
There
good.
we go.
There. So there's the cart that's on wheels, and that's the computer we bought instead. And if I come back here, there's the microphone. And then if I look over there, this is our monitor that we had in the other portable, and that's the camera underneath it with the two lights right under the center. So that's when you're looking at RASC Victoria, that's where you're looking at. And then we have the monitor there that's in the room there as well. So we can have two things up at once in this room.
And if you
You've
look at
got
that,
a
it
different number of
goes off
monitors.
into infinity.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. So is the bigger microphone an improvement? Well, one of the things that Randy found out was that sound was the biggest issue with Zoom stuff. And let me spotlight myself here. Where is it? Remove the spotlight. There we are. So I'll get back to RASC Victoria. Maybe I'll spotlight it for the moment. Where are we here? Spotlight. There. So there you can see the room here. One of the things that Randy did quite a bit of reading about was what are the issues with doing hybrid Zoom. And one of the things for the Zoom participants was being able to hear. So he decided, so actually almost the most expensive piece of equipment other than the computer, of course, is that microphone. So, and I think it is working fairly well. I don't know, this is our, yeah, it seems to be thumbs up. And one of the things we did is, so we're sitting around in the room and you can see where I am because I've spotlighted it. If I just keep talking and I'm walking out the door and now I'm actually heading outside, and I think maybe you can probably still hear me a bit. So I was actually outside talking to you, so that microphone does do quite a good job.
How did people hear that?
Could you hear me? Yeah. Yeah. So, it's so that seems to be working quite well. The other thing we've tried to do is put the camera under our main TV, because one of the things that we found is that people were looking off in all directions, and we'd like to talk to the people of you out in Zoom land. So we're trying to remember to look at the camera that's over there to just make it a little better. So I think it's showing that it's working fairly well. This is, of course, the first night it's been used. We took it over to Reg's house and walked around in his condo trying it out, and it's been set up here a couple of times in preparation. So, and it doesn't seem to take too many steps to set it up. So hopefully we'll have it all well refined.
As long as it doesn't run away because the Empire invades.
There we are.
3D for it, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's a impressive microphone.
Yeah, one person at a time. Thanks, Margie. Yeah, that's a good point. Very good. Okay, I think I'm going to shut down my laptop there because I think we're finished with your stuff there. So I think David Lee, you wanted to say a few things, did you not?
Yes, I did. Actually, a couple of things. I think I'll actually start with.
Okay, let me unspot. Hold on a second. Unspotlight, so you get spotlight.
Okay.
Maybe spotlight him instead.
Yeah, let's. How's that?
That's a really big image on my screen, but that's okay. Okay. I just wanted to start with the getting started in astronomy SIG. We did get together, like we had been talking about this for quite a while since the pandemic, that we would actually get together. And we actually did that a number of times this summer at Cattle Point. And I really want to thank the people that kind of indulged me in my interest in variable stars. And actually Margie and Jill and I think Brian may have been with us one time, and I think Marion came by. We actually witnessed the minima of Algol. So that was actually quite fun. I know that Margie was quite surprised that I had never done it before. Now I have observed variables visually, but not Algol for some reason. It's actually quite a simple one because it's I think it's like less than 3-day cycle, but you have to pick the right times because obviously the cycle occurs during daytime as well, so you obviously can't witness it. But I don't know, Margie, do you have any comments about seeing it, or Jill? Or have they disappeared?
Yes, I do. It was incredible. It was incredible. Yeah, that was the first time I'd ever actually been outside and used my binoculars to except at our observatory to actually look at something. And I did my homework ahead of time, so I actually I knew what it was that I was supposed to be looking at, and had information about how to find it. And the whole experience was just brilliant.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, and it really is only a practice session. There's more minimas coming up. In fact, the best time is between September and December. So that was just like a trial run. And I think it actually went quite well. So I hope other people will sort of observe the minima through the winter as well. So yeah, so we have been meeting, so that's been a first. So the other thing I want to segue to, and this is maybe will be of interest to Clayton, is that the survey, or the sky brightness survey that we did, and I'm just going to share this with you. This was something that was done in 2010, and we had an idea that we might want to do it last year, but with COVID and such, we certainly didn't get around to it. But I think we're geared up to do this this year, at least try it. This is the, let me just see if I can bring this up. So this is the original map. So you can see that there's quite a bit of white areas here. Now Kettle Point, which is out in this area here, or I think this area here, or here maybe. You can see it's just orange, but it's not too bad. It's in the middle here. White is the worst, obviously, so you can see it in the area here. But we have a number of volunteers that have already said that they wanted to help. So we're gonna, we may not have 18 volunteers, but we'll have a number of volunteers. We're going to use these meters, and we still have the same geographical locations from last time. So we're hoping to actually do the survey again. What I wanted to let people know tonight was, for the people that have volunteered, people that don't have meters, I'd like to come to Astro Cafe next week and distribute meters to people that don't have them. And at the same time, I think we could have a very quick kind of training session. I'm still really working on the final data collection template, but I should have that by next week. So does anybody have any questions so far? These are the times when I'm thinking, maybe in September and October. So does anybody have any questions?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
David, how do you know whether you are a volunteer or not?
You were a volunteer if you had done it in 2010, but if you wish to help, just let me know.
Okay, I want to volunteer.
All right, so please send me a note and I will send you further information.
Okay.
So I just wanted to tell people the kind of the importance of this. We get some surprising areas here, and in fact, Clayton, I'd like to come out to Vikai and do some readings in your area, just to see how good or how bad it actually is. And in fact, the idea of sort of improving on your existing lighting sure makes sense. And I also wanted to let you know that I've been doing imaging during the pandemic from my light polluted front driveway. I have a light standard at the very end of it. And what I do is I take a light stand with a black umbrella and I create a nice umbra underneath on my driveway. And I put my imaging rig right in the middle of it. And it works.
I
It works.
actually imaged the Iris Nebula from my balcony condo in the middle of Fairfield, and with the city light, it's not good, and I did boats too. They're horrible, but it was possible to get something, and I'd like to email you about getting together and doing that in Fernwood.
Yeah, that would be great. I'd love to be involved in that. And anybody else who wants to be a volunteer, just let me know, and I'll see if I can work you into the project. Great, thank you.
Thanks, David. Does anybody else have anything this evening?
Well, I wonder.
Go ahead, Lauri.
I'm sorry, I was just going to say if Mr. or Dr. Kendurkar is there, would he like to just have a few words from the board, the NRC board? And not NRC, I'm sorry, the RASC board. He could bring greetings if he's still there.
Yes, I am. I'm right here. I'm just starting my observing run for the night. It actually looks pretty good tonight, luckily after, having 3 nights of smoke here. And now the CCD is working pretty good on the 72 inch as well, the plastic telescope. Yeah, it's thank you for inviting me for the Astro Cafe. It was really fun, and I would love to meet everyone in person, but it has been so busy since I came here on September 9th. I've been observing pretty much every single night, except on September 10th, it was all cloudy, so I had to shut the dome down. But yeah, and yeah, I appreciate inviting me here for the Astro Cafe. It was really fun, and I would love to participate again. And I would like to do a small presentation about what I'm doing on a plastic telescope.
Yes, that would be fine. Just to let you in on a secret, so this link should work every Monday now. Same link.
Okay.
So we don't meet on holiday Mondays.
Right.
But,
Okay. Okay.
I don't create
keep
a new meeting every week.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be great. Is there anything, any news from RASC National?
Not quite. We are going to have a meeting in person I believe in October. I don't think I'll be able to actually go in person meeting because I'll be observing and I'll be busy with my teaching at the college and everything. But yeah, nothing really is going on at the national right now. We're gonna have a meeting soon on September 14th, this Wednesday, I think. So last meeting I couldn't actually, I wasn't actually there in the last meeting for the national. I was working, so the time didn't really match for me. But yeah, this on 14th we're going to have a meeting, and we're going to talk about, I think, a couple things about robotic telescope, because we are planning to have an online course for the RASC robotic telescope, and that would be really cool. We're planning to have a course on variable stars, actually. Mostly delta Studi type star with a high amplitude variables. We have a period of like 0.2 days, like 3.5 hours or some such. And I'll be helping to the robotic telescope project to make that course. And yeah, our plan with the board, I'm going to propose that I would like to actually start a citizen science project with the robotic telescope, because it's quite, I think it's important to have a citizen science project, and the robotic telescope needs to be used more, and we need to get involved, students and university students and everyone else needs to be involved, in doing science, or even at least understanding how we can actually contribute to the science, right? So, yeah.
Great. Yeah, so just let us stay in touch and let us know when you'd like to tell us more, and you can certainly join us on another Monday.
Absolutely, I would love to. Thank you.
Malhar, you're here next week?
Yes, I am. I'm here till 26th or 27th, actually.
Okay, because Samantha Jewett is
Yeah.
going to be visiting on Astro Cafe on the 26th.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's actually going to be here. So I'm going to bring her down, and we'll have her as well. So yeah. So if you're around, we'll have Samantha there too. So
Absolutely, that would be great.
okay. Well, we'd love to hear about your project. That would be great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you again. Does anybody else have anything?
Just there's a council meeting tomorrow, just a reminder.
Right.
Anybody notice that Dan Posey's image is image of the week on Sky News magazine?
Nice.
Well, that's good.
When he took from out at Pearson College to maybe inspire you to come out one time when I invite people out.
Well, I loved it today online, Bill, when you said that you're the only person who can actually use a green laser pointer because you're outside of the 10-mile or the 10-kilometer zone. I thought that was great. Yeah. And just so people, and as well, Bill, of course, that there is an RASC course on the green laser pointers that we can take, and it's a set of slides that is taken, and then you get certified, either as a user or a watcher. And that when you use it, you actually are using it at a certified RASC like program event, and then it's covered by the Transport Canada part. So it has to be an event. So there are, as we said in the emails that went back and forth today, that there are very specific things that need to be done for green laser pointers. It's almost not worth doing with so many restrictions on it.
Well, and the reality is there's no such thing as a 1 milliwatt laser that will work. So they created a guideline that is impossible to reach.
Is that for use anywhere or just around the airport?
No.
Restrictions exist.
If you look up Canada, Transport Canada, if you Google Transport Canada green laser, you will come to their page about that and the law.
Yeah.
And
where you can and cannot use it. Yeah.
I think it's a 10-kilometer radius.
There's also an
Okay.
interactive map, and you'll see how restrictive it actually is.
Yeah.
Almost nowhere.
Well, in
Except
fact,
Machosen and Souk.
Yeah.
Exactly.
in fact, I recently got certified at the Saskatchewan Summer Star Party, and you were not legally entitled to use any laser pointer unless you are certified.
Right.
Your RASC.
Right.
And not only that, you have to have a pointer with you that is someone to watch for aircraft at the same time as you are using the laser pointer.
Yeah.
But it's not as bad as you have been implying, Lauri, because there are recommendations from the National Committee, but they need not be adopted by local RASC centers. And in fact, the Regina Center has not adopted them. So it can be a lot less restrictive than you might think. And maybe that's something we need to discuss in our center.
I know nothing about that.
Well, I was trained all about it, so not that I remember everything, but
Well, I know about the training. I just didn't know that we could opt out of the restrictions.
well, it's not a matter of opting out. It's a matter of adopting restrictions. And you can adopt the recommended restrictions from the national group, but you need not do that.
But you still have to comply with the federal law.
Federal.
Oh, absolutely, you have to comply with the law, yes. And it is thought to be the case that RASC is the only organization that can certify people. You know of some other organization, Bill?
No, but if you're using it as a teaching thing, then it's allowed. Because the restriction is based on where
Well,
airports are.
no, the restriction is nationwide, but you can potentially use it for teaching if you establish your event in a pre-notice situation with Transport Canada. But apparently this is so onerous that it's almost impossible to do. So the only practical way to do it is to get certified through the RASC and have it done according to RASC rules and center rules. So it's not that hard to be certified, but you do have to take the course in order to be certified.
But do they mention about the 1 milliwatt? That's the weird part.
That's not accurate.
But that's what's on Transport Canada's website.
Well, it's in fact, you see, there are exceptions. I can't teach the course right here because I'm not qualified to teach it anyway, but you can certainly go up to 4 milliwatts if you're using it for the right purposes under the right circumstances.
I didn't know they
Canada,
made 4 milliwatt.
Pardon?
I didn't know they made 4 milliwatt. They make 5.
Well, up to 5.
Okay.
But and of course, oftentimes the ratings that are applied by the manufacturer are inaccurate anyway.
Yeah.
So there's more to be done to investigate this, I guess, and I didn't know when I got certified what the status of our activity was in the Victoria Centre. So
Right.
obviously this needs to be discussed further.
Well, one of the biggest problems here is most of the places are in a restricted zone because it's not only the airport, it's the hospitals. Put a 10-kilometer zone around them because we've got heliports. We've got a heliport in the harbor. We've got an aerodrome in the harbor. So yes, that's why you have to go to Machosen pretty much.
Well, but there are exceptions. For example, the airport in the harbor is BFR only,
yes,
daytime
okay.
only. So that doesn't really bother us very much per se. But of course, there's the heliport.
The heliport
in
does,
the
yeah.
harbor as well. So there's a lot to consider, and we need to do that both at the center level and then somehow make sure people are following these rules. Certainly that members are following these rules, because the threat underlying this delegated authority to the RASC is that if we don't properly effect the rules with our members, then they may take away the delegated authority, which would essentially make it impossible to use laser pointers.
Marge, you have a question?
No, I have a comment.
Okay.
Just in case the people who are not part of the beginners group wonder where this whole discussion came from. It happened today via email with one of the members of the beginners group who asked David a question about using lasers, and then the emails that went back and forth amongst the people who are part of the beginners group. So that's why some of us know what the topic is, a little bit about the topic, and others might not.
Thank you.
Sorry. I didn't realize.
Okay, does anybody else have anything for this evening, or should we call it an evening? Okay, last chance. Okay, so Lauri, were you going to say something?
No, I was just gonna say, we'll see you a lot of you tomorrow.
Yes, yes. So for those people on council, reminder, there is a council meeting at 7:30. You should have been sent a link by Jill. We'll be back next week. We may actually be even getting closer to having refreshments one of these days. Maybe we'll even try making coffee here next week. We'll see how things go.
Oh, actually, just one other,
next week.
sorry, one other thing, Chris.
Yeah.
Jim, was it you that wanted to participate in the survey?
Les does.
Les.
Oh, and Les as well.
He's
I
sitting over
sent you
here.
an email.
Yeah, he's sitting
Yes.
beside Alex. You can't actually see him there. That's his
Okay.
arm waving at you.
Yeah, both of you should send me email just to confirm.
Yeah.
And next week, I'm hoping to bring any meters that are required for the survey at Cafe.
Excellent. Yeah, it'd be good to actually measure the sky around here too, because we've
Mhm.
groaned at the Fairfield Gonzalez people a number of times because the lighting around this building is atrocious. So
And David, I'll be emailing you too. It's Clayton,
Clayton, oh yeah, okay,
tonight or tomorrow.
yep, no problem.
great. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and I'm glad we could hear each other and see each other. And seems like it's working well. I think Alex is the host next week. So we'll be here, and those who want to come and join us in person, please do. And otherwise, we'll have the link out there, which is the same as one you've got this week. And yeah, take care, everyone, and we'll see some of you tomorrow and others of you next Monday.
Bye.
I don't think that's much.
Bye, everyone.
I don't think
All right.